Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Hope you all are doing very well. This is me, Reshma Ravindran. So today's video is going to be pretty quick and it is absolutely going to be important to all of you coming to Canada. But before we go into the video, please do subscribe to my channel because that is what motivates me to make more videos. So I always feel that most of the YouTubers, we all tend to tell, how to apply for part-time jobs, but no one really talks about what kind of jobs to apply for. And I think that's why this video is going to benefit you guys. So in the recent times, a lot of you guys have been asking me about the current job scenario here in Canada. It could be part-time or full-time. A lot of you guys have expressed your doubts because of the whole recession, like what is the job scenario. I'm not just talking about Sarnia, but I'm talking about the whole of Canada. Now let's start with part-time, because this is something that I guess even I've made mistakes. I know that my earlier videos I've spoken so much about part-time jobs and how easy it is to get part-time jobs, but then I feel that I've made a mistake in even searching for part-time jobs. The reason is, every time I search for a part-time job, when I came to Canada, my whole impression about part-time job was more like, you just go to a retail store, drop resume, or you can just apply online, whatever it is. I was just thinking that as a student, the only job that I will be able to acquire is into retail. And even when I was searching jobs, I always focused on finding jobs in the retail sectors. Like, for instance, my very first job was Best Buy, and so on. I never actually for a minute thought that I could actually apply for a desk job. Although the experience of working in a retail is definitely great, but any day I think most of us would prefer doing a desk job. That's what we are used to back in our country, so it is something that we all want to do. But then when we come here, we always think that retail jobs are the only jobs available for students, and that is not true. Like, you can basically apply for any job for that matter. Most of the people right now here in Canada are looking for people with good skills. The reason why I'm telling you guys is because, when you're coming to Canada, right now, when I was back here, there was COVID restrictions. The people coming to Canada was less. But right now, the people that you're competing with is like a whole lot. In the past few years, people coming to Canada has obviously increased. The weather is amazing. Coming back. So the people coming to Canada, the number of people coming to Canada as international students has obviously increased a lot. Now, what happens now? Now, most of the people always focus on finding a retail job rather than getting into a skill-based job, because we are all thinking that the only kind of job that we as students can get is, getting into retail sectors, which is not true. And also, here's the thing. Just because there are a whole number of people competing for the same position, it is obviously difficult to get part-time job. Like, let's say I am applying for a job in Freshie. Freshie is a food sector. They make salads and burritos. To get into Freshie as a crew member, all you need is a little bit of customer service skills, and obviously when you enter the team, you will be taught how to make salads and burritos, and down the line you would just become an expert with it. But for this particular role, you do not need any sort of skill that is already inbuilt in you or something. All you have to do is just apply, and if they have a vacancy, they're going to call you. So now in this case, you're not unique. You don't have there is no requirement for this particular job. Now, what happens here is you have a lot of people competing for this particular position, because obviously this position does not expect any skills. Whereas if you're applying for a job that is skill, let's say you're applying for a customer service role in, let's say, CIBC or RBC. Now, these banks actually do have part-time positions open. So let's say you're applying for that particular role. Obviously, you need really good communication skills, and for obviously because of that, the competition that you might face would be a little less. So what I would suggest is that before you're coming here to Canada, be prepared and make sure you have the right skills, because when you are applying for a part-time job, what happens is you would be competing with a whole lot of international students. Now, to make yourself stand out of it, you need to make sure that you have a unique skill. Let's say you have a skill, you have an experience in a finance sector. So when you're coming here, try to get into desk jobs that are related to finance rather than just going for some random retail stores. Now, the reason why I'm telling this is because even if you're gaining part-time experience, that will actually help you to get a full-time job in the future. Canada does have a lot of vacancies, but the problem is skills. If you don't have the right skills, obviously you won't be able to land a job here. So even if you're coming here, as a student, I would really recommend you guys to try and get into these desk jobs. It could be finance, customer service roles, or anything that you actually have skill, because there are a lot of part-time jobs. But don't just focus on getting into retail sectors, because A, it's going to be tiring. B, obviously, there's not a lot of learning in that process. And of course, we all want to, improve our skills in our particular domain. So try to do that. So some of the companies that do hire students are like I said, you have CIBC, you have RBC, and a lot of banking sectors like that do hire students. Apart from that, you could also look for part-time jobs. Like for instance, you can also look for administrative assistant roles. Like, let's say I am a project management student. So obviously, it could be a little difficult for me to find a project coordinator role directly, because I do not have any experience. So now, what could I do to gain experience in my sector? So what I should have done is that I should have basically applied for administrative assistant roles. So when I apply for administrative assistant roles, what happens is it is very similar to project coordinator roles, and also I would gain experience as an admin, and that would actually add more value to my resume. Now, this is an example of how simple jobs like an admin role could add more value to your resume, because you are going to actually gain some hard skills there. Rather than working in a retail sector, I think I should have probably done that, and that was one of the mistakes I made. And that's the reason why I'm telling you guys that when you come here, try to get into sectors like that, because that is what is going to help you in getting a full-time job. This is something I didn't realize, but since I realized it now, I want you guys to do that. Now, these jobs are basically available in any job portal. Like, you can check it on Indeed or LinkedIn or any job site for that matter. So it's not like these jobs are just available here or here. You can even check jobs.ca. All these places do have part-time jobs that are exclusive for students. So this is something that I did not know, and even when I was looking at a lot of YouTube videos, I feel like no one actually mentioned the fact that with good skills you can actually get into desk jobs. So I would suggest you guys to look for that first before you go into any retail sector. That is definitely going to be very, very, very helpful for you guys. Now, the reason why I constantly keep telling you guys to apply for these particular job is that let's say there's a job like I already gave you guys an example of how Freshie and all these companies work. for this particular job role, you might have like 100 to 200 people applying, and for this particular role there's no requirement and there's nothing that makes you unique. So it might sometimes even be based on luck, or sometimes you might have applied a little later than the other person. So these are some things that that could stand in the way of you from getting a part-time job. So before you apply to any of these roles, make sure you try to make you stand out. Try to mention skills that are unique, that are probably not present on anyone else's resume. Because if you're going to write the same old thing again and again, what is going to make you look better? I understand that survival jobs, that's really important, because obviously that's something that's going to feed you. But then also keep in mind that you came to Canada for a reason. Obviously, here you come here to build your skills, and just because you can get into a retail and work for 60-70 hours and earn more, that doesn't mean you're actually learning anything there. Rather, I would actually suggest you guys to get into a skillful job, even if it is paying you less. And because that is something that's going to help you in the future to get a full-time job. Because I understand that you can continue to do your retail job as your full-time job, working for 40-60 hours, 60 hours or 80 hours. But then how sustainable is that? How long can you keep doing it? Now that you're a student, you might think that it's okay to work for 60 to 70 hours. So what if your responsibilities increase, you want to start a family and all that? How sustainable do you think it is to work for such long hours? At this point, I think we should all make that a mature decision, that getting into a skillful job is more important than making money. Because down the line, your skills will definitely help you get an amazing job, and that is going to give you more money. So always focus on gaining more skills. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. That is it from me today. I will be back with more videos similar, and I also have to get back to work. It is lunchtime for me, and it's a lovely weather, and I so want to continue having this weather here in Canada. But just few more months and we are back with the winter jacket on. Oh yeah, bye bye, take care.